What makes something you say true? A large part of truth depends on how one perceives reality, which leads us to the question, do you perceive things as they are or what they appear to be? The first issue we face is the difference between objective and subjective truths. For example, Christopher Hitchens is a militant atheist, and St. Thomas Aquinas subscribes to divine command theory. Therefore, their viewpoints on how to live the good life differ. An objective truth is a statement that is true in every scenario. For example, all bachelors are unmarried men. A subjective truth, on the other hand, is more complicated. It is derived from social normatives as well as personal experiences and cultural variables. To help you visualize the issue of truth, a thought experiment was proposed by Immanuel Kant. Say, for example, an individual runs to your door and asks you to hide from a murderer. You oblige. If the murderer showed up to your door and asked you where that person was, what would you say?
Someone's trying to kill me. Can I hide here?
Yes, go ahead.
Immanuel Kant was a 19th century German philosopher. From his deontological viewpoint, he believed that lying was wrong in every situation.
Is Luke here?
According to Kant, I need to tell the truth, so yes, you can move back.
Cool.
Wow, man.
Next, we have Sam Harris, who is a contemporary philosopher from Stanford and UCLA, as well as a neuroscientist. His depiction of truth is dependent on the situation as a whole, as opposed to what's solely being said.
Is Luke here? I need to kill him.
According to Sam Harris, truth is dependent on the situation, so in this case, I'm going to go ahead and call the police.
Lastly, we have Ayn Rand, an egoist, meaning your decision should be based on self-preservation and what's good for you yourself as an individual.
Is Luke here? I need to stab him.
According to Ayn Rand, I need to preserve my own being, so yes, go ahead and kill Luke.
Woo!
The perception of objects also has to do with social and cultural variables. For example, here we have the KKK hood. If someone from America were to walk by and see this, they would perceive it as racist and even evil. Whereas if someone from Papua New Guinea were to come across such a hood, they might think of it as just a silly hat if they had no previous experience to such an item. George Berkeley was the Anglo-Irish modern philosopher whose main theory on perception and reality is called immaterialism. Immaterialism is the idea that objects cannot exist without being perceived, or in other words, everything that we perceive to exist exists only in our minds. Richard Dawkins, on the other hand, is a contemporary biologist, philosopher, and materialist. For Dawkins, reality is perceived on the atomic level, saying that everything is created from atoms and pure substance. Perception does not only have to do with visual sensory input, but audio as well. This is the Shepard tone illusion. It is a repetitive series of notes that sounds as though it is raising higher and higher in pitch, but if you listen to it again and again, it is actually the same tone being played over and over. Trippy, right?
So out of everything you've seen and heard in this video, which parts of it are true? Which parts of it are real? You decide.